What's going on, guys? We are here with Danny and Gabe, and today we are going to be installing a snorkel on Danny's 4Runner. So it's my third snorkel install, Danny's first and Gabe's second. So it'll be pretty easy, I think, hopefully. Flash forward to not easy. And it's a 5th gen 4Runner 2019? 2020? 2020 5th gen 4Runner with a TJM Airtec Snorkel. So probably going to take us a good few hours here, and we'll get after it.
We're off the ground.
Creating power, dude.
No. We
We'll drop it on my head. Solid wheel removal tactics. Oh god. These are your snorkel components here for the TJM Snorkel. More of it is under the fender than on your typical snorkel. So basically what we have here are your inner tube here. So this is actually sitting inside your fender, where this part of the snorkel, normally for the one-piece snorkels, is on the outside. So this goes on the inside of the fender here. It connects your airbox from here to the actual outside part of the snorkel right here. And then this is obviously where that is received, right here. And then this goes all the way up your A-pillar right there. And there's a gasket as well for the inside of that right there, along with all the installation hardware right here. And the pillar mount for this guy is right here. So pretty simple snorkel setup here, but this is the basic rundown of the TJM Snorkel for the 5th gen 4Runner 2014 and up. Alright, so our first task here is to remove the fender liner. And the fender liner is basically held in on the inside and the outside. So the inside are those right there. They're like a 10mm or Phillips. And then these are just little push guys right here on the inside. So we will take out the fender liner first. And Danny is just taking out these little push pins on the mud flap too. Does every 4Runner come with this mud flap?
This?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is stock.
Okay.
Our wash didn't get the fenders very well.
It never does.
Yeah, still plenty to do.
Yeah.
That's why I was thinking about going to that self-serve one, because then I could get the inside of the fenders real well, but then nothing else gets washed very well. Even though we go trees, I don't want. I still go to the touchless car wash.
Bro really cares about his paint, dude.
It's like, I'll get up to the trees, but some machines not fucking it up.
A bush with like spiky parts of it? That's fine. A car wash with a brush?
Yeah, exactly.
You get one side, go to another side, kind of rotate it around. It's like a Christmas tree pin.
So these are the inside fender liner clips. If you want to keep these and not break them, you've got to find the release on the inside.
Picks too.
Gotta find your release.
Gotta find your release, brother. Okay, so you got a little tab in there.
Yeah.
You got to pry it back and then try to pinch the tab in on these inside fender liners. Nice. Nice. It's really hard because you can't see this.
Yeah. There we go.
Oh, there you go. basically, if you can see these right here, you just gotta peel it out a little bit with one of those trim tool. If you can get a pick there, you can just kind of squeeze these in with the pick and try to pull it out with them squeezed in. It's kind of annoying to do. Maybe it'd be easier if you plan on just breaking them and buying some extras beforehand, which we did not do. So it turns out that everywhere that has a 10 mil spot also has one of those annoying fasteners you have to get out. So we're gonna get out the rest of those. For the little plastic tabs that are right here, you have to peel back your fender liner and like get in there. We just ended up cutting off the tops with a box knife, and then we're gonna reuse some of the good ones that we didn't damage there, because those ones have to be there because of the 10 millimeter bolts that have to go through them, since they have the inside threads or whatever from the 10 millimeters. Where those good ones came from, we will just replace with zip ties. Yeah, so that's what the ones with the head cut off look like. The TJM said that they were supposed to come with extras of these, but they did not. This is what one of the little 10 millimeter bolts looks like right there. There's a few of those where you have to have some of the fasteners that are in good shape there. So we removed the fender liner. That was kind of step one, or I guess step 0 is lifting it and taking the wheel off, but remove the fender liner, and now Danny is gonna, are you unplugging the MAF right now?
Yeah.
MAF is unplugged.
Another 10.
Got a 10 millimeter.
10 or Phillips.
10 or Phillips. Is that just the hose clamp or whatever? So he's undoing the clamp right now. Just kind of slide that dude back there. Air filter. So now he's just kind of unclipping the MAF harness there. Just undo that little latch there. So there's also a couple clips on your box if you've changed an air filter before, you know. But you just got to undo those little clasps there.
A triangle that goes down and then flares out.
So you just got to unpinch this guy right here so you can get the wiring harness out of the way. Okay, so unfortunately we broke the little tab to get the wiring harness off right here. But not a big deal. I think we're just gonna get a little zip tie solution going there. Gabe was able to successfully get this one out right here without breaking the little push tab on the other side. So this one's broken over here, but this one we were able to save. So not bad. But that's all 3 of these now for the wiring harness. So there should be 3 in total. All right. Top of box removed. So we got the intake covered up there, just a little towel over it so nothing gets down in there, God forbid. And then you're gonna have to unbolt, was it an 11 millimeter?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so you're gonna unbolt your airbox there, and it's an 11 millimeter.
Actually, I might need an extension for this one.
Yeah, I can go grab an extension if you need it. We got 2 11 millimeter bolts inside the box, and then one outside the box where Danny is wrenching right now. So you probably want to use an extension for these.
Yeah, either a little stubby or an extension. They're not that tight, so extendo clip.
Bro's got all the torque. Has over torque.
I got the quarter, the 3/8, and then the extendo.
Just got the extendos. Switch on it. Make sure to take those bolts and put them in your intake to clean them.
Yeah, there's this really cool storage.
Yeah, it's a little storage, yeah. Make sure to store things in your intake. It just needs to come out at an angle because it has a little scoop that's like in your fender, if you can see that.
I thought you could take the scoop off somehow.
Can you? I mean, it's...
no, I can get it.
No, you got it out, yeah. So step 0 was to lift the car and take off the wheel. And then after that, you're going to take out the fender liner in here. And then what we just did now, unclasp the, free the MAF wiring harness from the airbox. And you might break some of those clips on the way out. We broke one of them. That was step 2. Step 3 was actually just removing the airbox here. And now we are going to take the template. Take the template here and line it up on the fender and kind of get our rough estimate of where we're going to make the cut. You got to cut the template too. well, arts and crafts project, as Danny says. So it doesn't line up quite perfectly, but it's pretty good. It took a little bit of playing here to get this taped up. Basically, line it up as best as you can with the left edge here and the top edge here. For this one right here, we've got on a 2020 4Runner, there's like a little bit of weird space right here. We've got this at least to line up pretty good right there. So lining this top edge right here with your fender, and then lining up over here this guy as best as you can right here up to here. Hopefully this will yield the best result. We will find out. Just being careful right here because you don't have a lot of room between this hole right here and the big hole for the snorkel. Danny right now is using a center punch to punch the centers of these holes through the template. My ears, ow bro, I need a VA claim from this. Bro's center punching as opposed to off center punching. What if they sold an off center punch? Slightly off center punch.
Makes it
I'm a tiny
worse.
bit off center on that one.
That's okay. Just remember when you go to drill.
Yeah, I'm a little bit right on that one.
That's the one that matters the most, so. All the holes have been center punched by Danny. You can use a center punch or you can use whatever you want, but center punch is nice, makes it easy.
Should we start with the small one?
Now you gotta take the template off and start the hole.
Big one?
I would start with the big one just because of the small one here. Gotta be careful, but yeah, I think starting with the big one first and then doing the small ones after will be the best way to do it.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm just gonna lift you off a little bit so I can just lightly. We're gonna line up this a couple times, okay?
Nah, I'll just end it, bro. Just push it there. Alright. Drill time, drill time. Drill, Danny, drill.
Watch from the side, make sure I'm not walking anywhere.
Yep. Should put safety goggles on. I'm like squinting. It's like flying at my eyes.
We'll shorten my shirt.
I think you got it. You could probably just punch it out now. You could push it in with your hands, I think. You could twist it too. Nice, good job. A look into the 4Runner. Bum, 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 bum. Do you want to start with a smaller bit?
That's why, because I hit
It's on reverse.
Did I fucking dole it out?
No, it's on
No, I
reverse.
am on reverse.
Yeah. I was like, it doesn't look like it's spinning the right way.
Yeah, I'm like, why is that more paint coming out?
So we're just raw dogging straight to the 1/2 inch, but if you want, what you could do is start with a smaller drill bit and work your way up to 1/2 inch. But, you know, that's up to the user. Now we're using our brains. Just working on cleaning up the 4 holes right here. I'm holding a piece of cardboard right here and Danny is spraying some Rust-Oleum on the back side.
Right, because I was gonna like tape it off.
That doesn't matter. Well, that made it worse. That might matter now. Alright, apply some paint to the inside here. Just to help against rust and stuff.
There you go.
We are dabbing paint right now. Ryan is watching this and he's dabbing.
What's up, pulling smoke?
So it's noted here, this is a 4 1/4 hole saw bit right here. And then these ones are 1/2 inch drill bit. We have to take off whatever that is right there and in the center because we have to drill holes to the left and to the right of the hole right there for the snorkel in the center. So We have to undo whatever that doohickey is that Danny's got.
Some kind of horn.
Hey.
Is that your horn?
Let us know in the comments if you know what that is.
It's got one very thin wire going to it.
One very thin wire. It does have one very thin wire. I don't know. Let us know in the comments if you know what that is. None of us know what that is, but hopefully we don't find out what it is. I'd rather just let it be.
Put it back in the.
Danny, do you wanna point out where the holes are that we're gonna be drilling?
So I need a hole in the center of this box here,
Okay.
and then this upper hole needs to be enlarged.
Danny just enlarged that upper hole right there, and he's using a center punch right now on the other one.
Headphone users.
Rip headphone users.
I love drilling upside down and towards myself.
You know, you're good. it's not that big of a deal. Alright, second hole made. And the reason that we have to do that is because this guy right here has 2 bolts on both sides of it.
Actually, there's studs.
There's 2 studs, yeah. 2 studs on both sides of it. And you have to secure that to the inside. Right here. Where most snorkels, like Gabe and I's snorkels, are on the outside. This one mostly is inside until it makes it to the connection point where we drilled.
A little drippy drip.
So Danny also just sprayed a little bit of paint there. A little bit of rust prevention. So on these guys right here, you're gonna have to apply some Loctite on these studs. Just because they're going into bare metal there, so a little bit of Loctite on these. Get that Loctite on there.
The directions. Well, it's here, so.
So apply Loctite or equivalent.
So we're test fitting the intermediate tube.
Yep, that's one.
Yeah, put those, and then that lines up here. So
A little bit closer to the fender.
yeah,
It'll pull through. Right now, we just finished fit checking, doing a fit check. Is that the word? Fit check? Why does that sound wrong? Oh, fit check is like. Oh, fit check is like, yeah. Yeah, fit check is like what the kids say for their clothes, but you know, whatever. We checked that the inner tube that goes on the inner side of the fender fits. After we do the inner tube right now, we have to figure out where we're gonna make the marks for the pillar mount up there. And so right now, we're gonna have to snug it up in here and snug the studs back in here. Snug those up pretty good, just to make sure it's pretty tight. And then we're gonna have to mark a line or something where the mount is for the pillar, which I'll show you. So you can see right there, there's the pillar mount and there's 2 screw holes in there. So we put down the masking tape. Danny's gonna snug it up right now at the bottom, and we're gonna have to mark the bracket so that we can then take it off and mark where those 2 holes are. Takes a little bit of pressing right here to get this guy tight. Right now, we are going to snug these down just for the test fit, so not completely torqued down, but pretty tight, so we can get a good idea of where we need to make the marks for the pillar mount. So when you're doing the hole marking for this guy, you just want to make sure that you snug down this one. Doesn't have to be super tight on this guy, but make sure you just snug it down pretty good so that, you know, it's not going to be too far off of where it would be. And then once Danny finishes up down here, getting these guys snugged up, just kind of make marks with a pencil on this tape here of the shape of it, and then take it off here, line up the 2 holes, drill the holes, secure it down, and then put the snorkel on. Do this guy here. Danny is gonna hold it in place. Gabe is gonna mark the bracket.
This top corner is where it's all gonna be at.
good.
Yeah.
Good. All right, now we take this bad boy off
So
and
right there.
put the bracket on there.
Yeah.
Mount the bracket.
That's it. Cause I,
Danny right now is undoing the last bolt that we snugged up here, or the last nut rather that we snugged up here, and it's the one that's furthest up the snorkel, and that's also the one that's the biggest pain to get out. Yeah, it's like way up there. It's a big pain to get out. He's got a closed end long 13 millimeter on it right now. And you gotta like reach way back in there. So if you can, get ratcheting wrenches. We have a few ratcheting wrenches. We just don't have a 13 millimeter ratcheting wrench. So definitely recommend doing that.
Also, recommend not using the provided lock nuts to do
Yep.
this test fit. Just use a regular nut.
Yeah.
You can just run on with your
Yeah.
fingers.
I think it's an M8 by 1.25 if you want to get
Yeah.
that size.
M8 by 1.25, but yeah. If you just get some regular nuts, you just need 4 just for these, for the test fit here. And then once you actually, put it on for good, just make sure that you use the lock nuts that come with it. Alright. Test fit done. Alright, so the next step here is to take this bracket, line it up with where we just drew those lines, and then mark the holes here and up here, and drill into the pillar, and make sure that you hope you don't hit the airbag wire or whatever, so your airbags don't get activated.
Right there, bro.
Well,
that good?
I need to... Over there.
Mark those holes. Mark those holes. Nice. Alright.
Is that center? That's great, man. It's right in the meat.
The holes have been marked, and now we are going to drill into the pillar. So we've got a pretty short step bit here. If you have one of these, cool. If not, and you have a regular drill bit, just be extra careful. But taped off here at 5/16, so it won't go any deeper. This is a pretty shallow step bit. Would recommend using one of these on your pillar. And if you have a regular drill bit, just be careful and don't punch it through all the way. Holes punched. Airbag. Airbag.
Stop after
Airbag.
the first step, bro.
Yeah, Ben, the POV from the passenger seat there might be a little bit better.
To see the airbag fly out.
What the behind that?
Is it like insulation or something?
It might be insulation.
Yeah.
It's yellow.
Yeah. Got some yellow cake in there, bro. Some of that good 4Runner yellow cake. Like you're just pulling out insulation.
Now, yeah.
So right now we're just kind of like pulling out with the drill some of the insulation that's in there. At least we think it's insulation. Just trying to see how deep that little guy needs to go.
Still go a little bit more, you think?
A little more, yeah. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's the one.
that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, so we could put some silicone in there to kind of seal it. And then, or well, I guess do the other one first and then put some silicone in there. Just like scoops them out.
That's nice. Yes,
Deep enough.
sir.
Alright.
That'll work.
Filled up the holes.
Yes.
A little bit of silicone.
Little squeeze this. Really? I mean, it's coming out.
I bet it
center.
probably just got in with the insulation. Probably
Yeah.
just gets spread around in there.
It came out the center a little bit though.
Perfect.
But the bolt will fix that.
The next step here, after we put the bracket in, got the bracket all attached, is to do the final attaching of the outer snorkel part. So Danny's going to tighten up the bolts that are back in here, or tighten the nuts onto the bolts that are back in here. Again, kind of a pain. If you have a ratcheting wrench, that will help you a lot back here, specifically a 13mm ratcheting wrench. So Danny's going to take a good few minutes here to get these guys on. Then the step after this is going to be to put the intermediate piece that goes under the fender in there, connect it to the snorkel, And then the final step will be connect the intermediate piece to the airbox in here. He's still finishing up in here. It really is a pain back here, so if you can get a ratcheting 13mm wrench, definitely do that. So he's tightening up all these bolts on the backside here. And then the last thing we're gonna do is tighten up this guy right here. And that'll be it for the outside part of the snorkel, and then we'll put the inner part inside the fender here, and then after that install the airbox and connect the airbox to the inner part of the snorkel. Get the exterior snorkel nuts tightened on there. So now Danny finished tightening
You happy with
the
that?
pillar mount. One thing we hadn't considered was double check to make sure that however you have this mounted, that it's not in the way of your windshield at all. So it's not here, but just one thing to consider. Alright, so we're gonna put some silicone along the outside of this to keep that water seal there. Then we're gonna put the inside piece on. And then the inside piece is gonna snap in here, the bolt holes that we made. And then after that we're gonna put the airbox on. Lube it up.
I feel like it's worse.
Just a
This-
finger,
with
bro?
it being clear.
Get that silicone on there, brother.
No.
Alright. There she is. All siliconed up.
Back.
On the inside connecting piece, you just got to take the tape off, or the adhesive, the cover off the adhesive side of this gasket right here, and then lay the gasket over where the studs are. And then we've got the hose clamp oriented in such a way that we can easily adjust it while we're underneath the fender there. You got to kind of put it in laterally like he's got it right now, and then twist it up. So you got those studs in there.
Yep, keep going that way. A little bit more. You almost got it.
Do I need to go up or down at all?
Up, just straight back.
Left a little bit. Yep, there you go.
Is
Pop
that
in.
both?
Yep.
Yep. Is it tight? Can you feel? Is it tight around the end there?
Yeah, it's all the way around.
No, I think he's on the right track here. So the hose clamp right now, Danny did a pretty good job tightening it. We're gonna throw on some extra silicone there, make sure it's all sealed up. So right now we're just spraying a little bit of simple green in the old airbox here, just cleaning it out. It's a little bit dusty from past summers. I can maybe clip in here some little dust trips that we had.
It says Denso on it.
Alright, step 8000 is to reattach Denso uncertain thing.
I don't know, like,
Just put it on. I don't like it, bro. It's staring at me in a weird way. Like, why does the wire
like,
look
as soon
so
as I set
breakable?
it down, I'm like, oh, this thing's
Yeah.
gonna break if I move it weird.
It looks super breakable. Stop touching it, Danny. It's menacingly.
It's a bell, like on your bike.
Oh yeah, it's a little bell. Ding ding. They're like, wait, no, that's the flux capacitor, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna get all the lights now.
You gotta take it to the toy dealership, and they're gonna be like, did you touch the Denso disc? You're gonna be like, no. They're gonna be like, they stopped making those years ago. That's it.
Yeah.
I think that's it, yeah. Snorkel. Now you just gotta put the back in. We've gotta kind of try to remedy what we broke as best we
Oh, I
can.
need a drill new.
And then button it up and call it a day, bro. Took the rag off here. Definitely a good idea to have that rag on there because there was some like particulate and stuff. And some metal pieces from the cutting that we did, drilling. I made sure to put a little present down Danny's intake though.
Just a couple nuts and bolts.
Just a couple of things to save for later. I put a cookie in there. A s'mores cookie, bro.
Oh, am I gonna smoke s'mores when I start driving?
You'll take it to the dealership and they're gonna like, believe it or not.
Turns out.
There was a cookie in your engine. Put on extendo torque mode. All the torque. Bro's torqued up. Do you remember Workaholics? It was the fully torqued saying from that show. This is a good time to just get a new air filter in there. Nice Lexus one with the little
pre-cleaner.
Lexus pre-cleaner pad. It kind of looks like what's on my house one.
So that goes from that back in. That's locked in.
This right here is what we broke. Tab right here. On this guy right here. So Danny's just gonna drill through it, and then we can put a zip tie through there. Drills through wiring harness. Oh god! Oh god! Oh god!
I wasn't concerned with that. I was concerned with my hand.
I'd rather drill through my hand than the wiring harness. Alright, so we just drilled this little hole right here, and then we're just gonna zip tie it through here. So this is all wrapped up now. So all we have to do is get the fender liner back in here, and which is what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna use a zip tie washer method for the fasteners that we broke, and I'll link to that in the comments below. Toyota do that to us, bro. Toyota, please stop doing that. It's just like the worst way you could possibly squeeze these. Well, actually, you have to peel back the plastic part, sandwich it in between there. Toyota hates us, people. I love my Japanese homie. This one was unnecessary. No, you're not gonna put a snorkel on the floor. Alright, so we're just wrapping up right now with the fender liner here. Had to use some zip ties for some of the things that we broke. The old zip tie washer method. Dan's gonna put the mud flat back on, get screws back in, all in the fender liner, just like he took them out. And then gonna go get some finishing shots here after we get the wheel put on. Alrighty, this is the finished product here. Looks good, flush and everything. It's nice and tight all the way up. Sits nice and pretty. It's a solid snorkel install today. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed, just make sure to like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. We'll catch you around.